Good morning, y'all. If it happens to be morning where you are, great. If it's not, well, it's not here either. But it's morning somewhere. So, this is the video I actually wanted to do today before I went off on my tirade earlier. Kids, never YouTube angry. Although I'm still not apologizing because that shit does piss me off for real. Entitlement. So, of course, the 2A community has a real problem with liberals and gun grabbers. But why do you need that? Because your pussy ass ain't gonna defend nobody. And there's never a cop around when you need one. That's not their fault, but, can't be one for every block. And who would want that? Love my police, love my law enforcement guys. Don't get me wrong, we do need you. Just not that many. We've kind of got something like that going on in the 2A community as well. We're a bit more jovial about it though. It's kind of one of those, you can pick on your sister, but nobody else can pick on your sister or you'll punch them in the fucking mouth. It's kind of that thing. You've got the right-handed shooters versus the left-handed shooters. And the right hand is always going, why do you need a left-handed rifle? Just man up and shoot a left and a right-handed one. Let me tell you something. If you pansies had to shoot left-handed rifles, you'd be crying over that too. So it doesn't matter. Shut up and I just want one. Yes, I can shoot a right-handed rifle just fine. I don't know a left-handed firer that can't. Did it for 10 years in the Army. In fact, I'm actually right-handed, and I had to learn to shoot left-handed because I'm left-sided. Now, with a pistol, it doesn't matter. Pistol's completely natural in my right hand. A rifle, however, in my right hand, feels like I need to go scrub every inch of skin off of myself with a Brillo pad and lava soap. It's just, truly, truly cringeworthy. So, but again, I fire right-handed rifles just fine. Did it in the military. Yes, I had brass down my shirt once in a while, and yes, once in a while I'd get tinked in the face or the head with a piece of brass. But it's just one of those things to be expected, right? Nothing you can do about it. And then I got out into the civilian world. And I had my AR-15 and I'm in a gun shop and I look up and something just wasn't right. And I couldn't quite figure it out. So I asked to see the rifle and I'm looking over it and is it me? It's the ejection port on the wrong side. And the guy says, yeah, it's left-handed. You mean they make these? Yeah, haven't you ever seen one? I said, dude, you think Uncle Sam issued us left-handed M16s? Think we got a left-handed M4 from Uncle Sam? No. So no, I didn't know shit like this existed. That's awesome. And then I discovered that you can buy parts everywhere from everybody for anything you want to make. And I said, that's it. I'm not buying a left-handed rifle. I'm going to build one. So unlike my previous videos where I showed you this is what the rifle looked like beforehand. This is what it looks like now, and here's how I got it to there. Well, my beforehand picture would just be a box of parts, because that's all she was. I didn't take her from, anything and build her, for the most part. Now I did, however, get a really sweet deal. Ain't she pretty? Yes, beautiful, effective. But she's a fat little bitch, let me tell you. decked out and coming in at about 10 pounds, which is, she weighs exactly what my AR-10 weighs. So for a 15, yeah, she's a hefty girl. So we start with a lower receiver. And like I said, I got a really good deal. It's a PSA. And it just so happened that it had almost everything that I wanted and exactly how I wanted it. I was looking for a Magpul grip because the A2 grips suck. I was looking for the Magpul shoulder stock because, again, A2s suck. And they just happened to be the FDE that I wanted. Yes, flat dark earth is nice. And then I found AT3. And I wasn't quite ready to go to M-LOK yet. And besides that, the quad rail, the Picatinny, actually has a little bit stronger lockup than what the M-LOKs do. Stronger, more reliable lockup. Though I really don't hear a lot of people complaining about, oh, my M-LOK accessory fell off. Occasionally, you don't check them, they're coming off. In their defense, that can happen with Picatinny too, just not nearly as much. So AT3, still really light. This is about a 12-inch on here. For my uppers, both the receiver, the bolt carrier group, and I figured if I'm going with the receiver, especially my first build out, I'll go ahead and go with the same branded barrel. So if I'd have gone with, say, a different, Aero Precision, something like that, upper, one, I wouldn't be able to do it left-handed because they don't do left-handed. But I would have gone with a matching barrel. But went with stag arms for my upper, my bolt carrier group, and the barrel. We've got, this is the Break Arms Warhammer charging handle, which I've used on a few builds. And dummy me, we're going to drop everything. We're going to show clear. And what do you know? I didn't throw my magazine at the camera this time. So I tried to go with, Magpul has these cute little dust covers now. It's a quick release, quick on off, and it actually was pretty quick, pretty easy to put on. However, it doesn't like to lock in the way that your dust cover should. So I ended up taking it off. I went back to my original, and that was that. We go to Strike Industries. They're J-Comp up front. Of course, Magpul backup sights. Magpul bipod. And the reason that I went with a bipod and an LPVO, this is True Glow 1:6. LPVO, variable lighted reticles plus an etched reticle. And so, again, the reason that I went with those is I wanted this guy to be more of kind of an all-purpose, right? So I wanted to be able to, of course, on first power, or if I just want to pop the optic off and go with my iron sights, I can engage close in. It's an LPVO, so I can engage mid-range, and frankly, if you can shoot 300, 500 yards with iron sights, I'm pretty damn sure you can probably reach out to 8 with a 1:6 LPVO. If you can't, you probably shouldn't be shooting an LPVO. But I wanted to be able to take those longer shots and those mid-range shots and use it more as a kind of a designated marksmanship role, but then kind of an all-purpose. You know, it's kind of one of those deals. Now, this was also my very first paint job, and I did really, really well. And one thing to remember is any sort of markings, like on scopes, anything like that, and probably didn't need to keep that true glow, but any kind of markings, tick marks, anything like that on scopes or anything like that that you don't want paint on, painter's tape, wrap it up, shoot it, peels off real easy, doesn't leave any residue on there. You can also do the same thing, and I highly recommend using something. This True Glow has pop-up covers. They are magnetically sealed. Now, the ones on my AR-10 don't, the back one doesn't like to stay down all the time. This one does really well, so I didn't bother putting tape over it. However, if you want, even if you've got covers, you can just put a little bit of tape over there, pop the covers down over top of it just to make sure that you don't get paint on your lenses, because, yeah, that'll work out really well for you, won't it? This is my first opportunity timing these things out really well, too. And, of course, timing it out, it's one shot at a time. And one thing that I did learn that I recommend to everyone who's timing out a weapon, especially the first time, is once you think you've got it timed out well, of course, you start out one round at a time. Pop in, once you think you got it, pop in 3 rounds. It spits those out nice, bolt locks to the rear. Run steel rounds through it. After you've done all your timing with brass, run 3 steel rounds. Now, steel doesn't cycle quite the way that brass does. It's a lot harder for a rifle to cycle steel, and not all rifles will do it. If it's in my house, it better fucking do it, or it's gonna get some work done to it until it chews whatever cheap shit I want to run through it. Why? Ammo's not always readily available. Expensive ammo isn't always readily available, and frankly, I'm not an expensive ammo guy. I'm a shoot whatever's available, whatever I can get my hands on, and whatever I can afford. I mean, come on. I'm shooting these videos in one shot on a Samsung A series cell phone using a cat tree as a bipod. We are as low rent as we get up in here, let me tell you. Now the magazines, of course I wanted to go with either, well, I actually wanted OD green. So, but I wanted window mags, and for the life of me, I could not find a mag pull in OD green with the windows. So I ended up, this is a Hera mag. So Hera is an accessory, firearm accessories company out of Germany. So this one, it actually does pretty well. It, you know, loads pretty easy, unloads pretty easy. It feeds well. I haven't had any issues with it. So while I'm not necessarily singing their praises of the Hera H3 window mags, I'm also not going to talk shit about them. It was great. It was inexpensive. It gets the job done. And damn you, Magpul, for making me buy this. And I still didn't throw a diff camera. All right. So all in all, for my first build, like I said, she's a heavy girl, but she is just as sweet as she can be. I absolutely love this gun. I would absolutely, because of her, really gave me the courage to rework and rebuild the other 2 guns that I did, and also to, in the future, maybe maybe a 300 blackout AR pistol. It's going to depend on what happens with the whole pistol brace rule, which right now is going our way, but doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to go our way forever. So I would very highly recommend reach out to the lawmakers in your area. Let them know the ATF is full of shit. They're a bunch of power hungry, gun grabbing bitches, and we're done taking their shit. They need to vote them down. They need to get them out of there. Until then, hit the like, hit subscribe, and have a nice day.